welcome to session 11 of the Baali Chronicles. We're going to get started right away here. Now, our wonderful little nest of demon spawn, to put it lightly, have been running into a couple of walls lately and a little bit of obstacles have amassed in their path, so to speak. So recently we've had the discovery of the cultivar kind of consuming the Bahari. We've got the issue of the other nest out there. We've got another Baali looking for their home. We have the ever-lovable son who's just, well, Jason's Jason, so that's really all that can be said about it. And there are a lot of other complications that have arisen, from Sabbat to werewolves to Nathaniel Bordruff. So things have not been easy in the city. And on top of it all, their mentor is currently in Chicago, in torpor, in a trunk, at the foot of Lamont's bed. So, everybody, new evening, new rouse check. So, let's start with Sullivan.
Right.
Rouse it up, Sullivan. Come on. I know you got it in you.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Let's go to Preston.
No dice.
We're back to the norm.
We are, and Lamont.
I was loading up my character, so why don't you just relax?
All right. See, this is why you're the one who gets hungry, Sean. This is
Fuck you guys.
this attitude, this negativity is what's draining your blood. So, as you guys wake in another evening in Chicago, Sullivan and Lamont, you guys managed to come back to your senses in your beds, no worse for wear, just as sated as the night before. Still always that little minuscule bit of hunger in the back of your minds. Preston, lately you've been doing really well. You've been waking up feeling relatively refreshed, not really having that hunger grow within you whenever you wake up for the evening as your body reanimates itself. But tonight you feel that old, friendly, like gnawing hunger as you start to wake up. And it comes to the forefront of your senses as you kind of sit up in bed. What's weird to you is that usually when you've been waking up, sometimes there's animals, sometimes there's insects. It's been a veritable cornucopia of vermin, you know, around your sleeping areas. But tonight, there's nothing. And you find yourself a little bit more hungry than the night before, as your hunger goes up by one.
I'll take it. I will take it. Rather than wake up in the midst of vermin carcasses.
Now it's the beginning of the next week from the last time we played. So the weekend has passed. You guys were having Jimmy look into the bouncer from Exit, who is now ghouled by Lamont, look into getting that, you know, the stretch limo, the Humvee for you guys to do the party. He's kind of been seeing about getting that all kind of lined up for you all. You have until whenever you want to during the week to throw that party if you still want to do it. But as of right now, the evening's fresh. You guys are all woken up. The house seems to be no worse for wear. Everything seems to still be in its proper place. Nothing's out of the ordinary. And what's weird for Lamont, the last couple of days as the weekend has kind of died down, you've seen less and less signs of the rats around and less signs of insects throughout the apartment.
Well, that's definitely a good sign, because yeah, I'm not really into all that. So I'm not going to complain about that. Yeah, I'll contact. When were we supposed to get the limo? Were we like, did we have a concrete date?
Friday. This upcoming Friday, I remember.
Okay. So I'm sorry, where are we in comparison to Friday?
It's like beginning of the week, so you got a couple days still.
Okay.
So if you guys want to get stuff done beforehand, or you guys just go about your business, do some prep, like aka some downtime stuff, and we can kind of fast forward to the week if you'd like. Yeah. It's up to you guys if you want to get stuff done beforehand.
I imagine Lamont would do what Lamont does normally every day and query his cadre and find out if there's going to be any chaos tonight involved in their feeding. So yeah,
these are the important questions that Lamont's around to ask.
I mean, I can always eat, but I'm not overly hungry.
Okay.
I have a fairly chaos-free record with my feeding.
All of us do.
I feel
that's true.
So there's really no worries. I mean, I could eat certainly.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't expend a whole great deal of time on that. I'd probably just continue training myself in the ways of the tattooist and typical stuff. So I don't really have anything out of the ordinary that I need to do until that particular event. So, all
right. Did anybody else want to knock anything out?
Nothing specific. I would just try and be seen. around town. I would go out and kind of be around it. Hit up a couple of hot spots during the week just to kind of maintain that Torador social thing.
I would just do prep. Yeah, just make sure we have munchies, stuff to munch on, plenty of alcohol. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Spruce the place up a little bit, a little bit of sweeping, a little bit of dusting.
So since Preston's the one that's going out and doing stuff via court and to be seen by members of the city, go ahead and roll me, let's say, your wits and politics.
Meanwhile, while he's doing that, I will make sure to go out to the suburbs and, hit up a Home Depot or whatever, and get some rolls of plastic, some tape, just in case there's a mess, we'll need to clean it up.
That's a messy critical. Now, this is not so much an active roll, so I'm not going to really count it against you, since this is more like what you've heard of the couple days you've gone out while Lamont's going to check out the suburbs and kind of plant seeds for everything. You start hearing whispers around some of the individuals you run into, just various members of the court. Like you'll run into Ballard talking with, let's say Marcel at some point, or even some of the hounds. So like Alexa, Santos, and Damien, or even Yesenia, the Spanish woman that you met with Damien last time at the when you guys spoke. Essentially, you're picking up some minor bits and details of what's going on in the city in the last week or so. First off, you find out that Balthazar is missing. And this has caused a bit of a tense conversation between Maldavis and Jackson and Genghis. There's a little bit of a discussion that's happened a couple times in Elysium. Kind of tense, but it gets quashed or moved before it really kind of like people get to hear what they're talking about. But Balthazar missing is a big point of note that kind of comes across in whispers throughout the city. Second one is that Jackson is becoming a little bit more of a recluse recently in the last couple of nights. He's not easy to get a hold of. And in his place, Alan Sovereign, the Seneschal, has been kind of fielding a lot of the court business right now. You also come to realize that Sierra is kind of considered a hound at this point officially. She's been kind of at the forefront of a lot of Sabbat stuff. And that's still going on. Like, there's still a lot of like subtle fights here and there between the Sabbat that are rumored to be in the city and the Cambria forces. Mostly Damien and the hounds are kind of going out and investigate this type of stuff and dealing with it when they see it, things of that nature. Not a lot of talk of how that's progressing. It's not really a topic of conversation casually that kind of floats around, but there are whispers here and there. There's still that thing that you'll get from Royston, for example, that when you run into him once or twice, that Annabelle's still kind of pushing for like a blood hunt against the Bahari, but that's kind of falling on deaf ears right now because Jackson's so hard to get a hold of. So for Lamont, the stuff in the suburbs goes perfectly fine. But during the week, you do get a call from Edith to see if you want to come by the Painted Lady to do some lessons in her style of tattooing.
Yes, I definitely will be willing to do that.
So you'll go like maybe like on a Wednesday night or like a Tuesday night, and 1 or 2 nights of the week, and she'll basically start introducing you to the specifics of how she tattoos. She doesn't quite give you her formula because last time you spoke, she said she had means to make tattoos permanent on kindred flesh.
Right.
She doesn't delve into that. She does reference it a couple times because there's a thing with, it's between the ink on the needles and this poultice or whatever that she makes, that the consistency of the ink gets a little more difficult to work with. So she starts talking about, varying thicknesses of ink and like, the viscousness of, what you're basically implanting into the flesh. So there's a lot of talk about that. And then you again discover that she does that old school, like Japanese tattooing, where it's just that boom, boom, boom. And it's just kind of informational at first. But the second you come out, she actually has you do a couple of small, practice pieces with, one of her instruments. So you get some practical stuff too. And you guys are talking about different styles of tattooing and how what this would be better for and how she kind of adjusts her style as needed, depending on the person. There's still this appreciation, obviously, of the way that you did your work with your brutal black style that she actually has you do like 1 or 2 small pieces while there. She pays you for your time, obviously, but on some of her clientele to kind of enrich the scope of what they can offer in the tattoo part of the shop. So it's a fun little exchange. You make probably about $200 or so on the side, just some pocket change. And then other than that, the week for you goes pretty uneventful. So you go out to the suburbs, do some seed laying there for the stuff coming up for the weekend. You do the stuff with the Painted Lady. Preston's kind of zooming around the city, kind of touching base here at the Succubus Club or the Art Institute, whenever he sees people around, just kind of to get some vibe of what's going on in the city right now. You do not see Larson, by the way, for Preston. He's not out and about that you can find. No, nor do you run into Sun either. He's not out and about either, so that's a little bit strange on his side. He's a little vacant from the local spots. Sullivan, you just kind of make sure the house is up to spec and you kind of clean things up. I know that Preston wanted to kind of was working to make sure the house presented a very specific type of front, this casual, like, you know, fun house, essentially, you know, 3 guys just kind of chilling out here. And you just kind of work within those bounds and you start getting some stuff for the party itself. You guys pick up some alcohol and some things of that nature that you're trying to remember, though. This is the hard part. When was the last time I had a party as a mortal? Fuck, what did we buy? And so there's a lot of like looking up like a party, you know, stuff, and you're getting all the cheesy like recommendations. Oh, get a snack bowl, get some Cheetos, get, you know, this or that, and you're like, I don't what? So it takes a little bit of time. Yeah, get a charcuterie board, and that'll be nice. It's a weird experience for you.
I think we should pick up some bean dip just to incorporate some suggestions from chat. We'll have some bean dip.
Probably buy many cases of really cheap beer too. I feel like that's
Some fucking
fundamental.
Coors or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Old style.
That's a new trendy
Old
thing,
style
right?
or
White Claw.
fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
You guys are getting old style in Milwaukee's Beast. So everything starts lining up as the week progresses. You guys get stuff ready for the party. You get confirmation that Jimmy, the bouncer from Exit, gets back to you and says, "Yeah, I got reservations for the weekend for the stretch. It's still the Hummer, right? You guys still want the Humvee?
Yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure it's taken care of."
Good.
And, you know, he goes about getting that all set up and making sure everything's kind of like sinking into place properly. And as the weekend starts...
I offer him no praise. You get no praise for doing your job. I'll just go good, and then I'll hang up.
He's got to earn his place in this cult now, you know, because he knows he's got to rise through the circles of mysteries, such as the Tremere would say. So he's got you. Maybe he'll start calling you GW for Grand Warlock. All right, GW. But he gets it all set up. So by the time the weekend starts rolling around, everything seems in line. You guys got a couple of cases of some cheap beer. You've got the drugs from the ministry. Those come through just fine. So Marcel's kind of fulfilled his part of the bargain. You've got the warehouse loft set up as just where you want it to be. What type of implements are we going to work on getting or preparing for this type of sacrifice? I mean, are you guys hoping to just drug them and then drag them down one at a time? Are you looking to restrain them around the well? How do you want to kind of work that piece of the puzzle?
That's a good point, and I would bring that up to definitely to Preston. He is kind of he's the priest, I would say, out of the 3 of us.
Well, there certainly needs to be some level of discomfort involved. It's not just going to be you're unconscious and tossed into the well, so there needs to be some physical discomfort.
That wouldn't be a worthwhile. Yeah.
No. So I'm thinking barbed wire. Maybe if we can get like a blowtorch, so that we could heat up the barbed wire or the chains.
Yeah, I mean that's all stuff we can pick up at like fucking, I don't know, Ace Hardware or a hardware store somewhere.
Yeah.
I was thinking we should get some lengths of chain and some padlocks, because we can just padlock chains around people's wrists and necks and just guide them like some sort of human insect. I don't know exactly what would be the appropriate, but
I could probably get some of the larger heavy-duty O-rings and screw them into the concrete in the ground, so we can chain them to the ground. They're not going to go anywhere.
I'm just gonna go super sacrilegious and make like crowns out of the barbed wire before they go in, so they're wearing like a crown of thorns.
Fair enough.
Fuck it.
Grab a nail gun or something. We can nail feet together.
So you guys take a pretty hefty trip to the hardware store, is what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, we have
a couple hardware stores, not just one.
We have a
I'm
remodeling
not buying
project
everything
that
at
we're
one
doing, and we need suggestions.
I'm going to strictly forbid anything in the city. We should probably drive out of the county, like, you know, go to DuPage County, you know, go to Lake County. Like,
Fine with me.
You can like go out to Kane and get like hit up a farm and fleet.
I'm not certain I want to go that far. I don't know what the fuck is out there. So I feel like I just want to be outside of any snooping princes or hounds, you know, but I don't want to go into like no man's land territory. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
No further south than Joliet. Like, that's it.
We have boundaries.
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing further north than, like, I don't want to go into Wisconsin. Just like, you know, above the city, below the city, to the left, maybe to the right.
Not a problem. It takes you guys probably an hour or two for probably like 3 nights to kind of go out and get stuff from one spot, then, you know, go somewhere else, grab that stuff, then start prepping it downstairs. This is a process that takes you pretty much all week to do. But it comes together pretty easily. You know, Preston spends some time each night, like making little fucking like crowns with the barbed wire. You guys get the blowtorch set up down below. You're looking for ways to put the chains up downstairs to get everything right. Now, when you guys do go downstairs,
I'm gonna put those O-rings in the floor and up in the ceiling, so that way we can chain them up and have them fucking spread eagle basically if we want.
Okay. So you guys get into the sacrificial chamber, you know, make all the changes. Nothing really seems to be going on around the well itself. It seems oddly quiet. You know, it doesn't feel any different to you guys when you go down there. It still feels just as potent, although time has been ticking on since the last sacrifice. It's only been like a couple of weeks, but, you know, it's just been a while is all it is.
That lets us know that fucking V hasn't figured out a way to get around the ward.
There are no Mars on the rock for Lamont, because last time he was down here, he kind of beat it with the claw end of a hammer.
Yeah.
All that seems flawless. It's back to its original state from when you guys carved in the Acadian. No marring there. Putting in the D-rings, everything goes pretty well. No problems whatsoever. As the weekend rolls up, you guys will wake up Friday night. We're not going to do another rouse check. We just did one. We'll have it stand. It's fine. I will probably say that Preston has had time to kind of feed throughout the week, because I know this is an important night and you want to make sure that everything's kind of, you know, nobody's going to go fucking hungry, randomly rip somebody's throat out. So obviously going out and feeding is going to be a thing, especially with Preston going to see Elysium a lot. That's going to involve a lot of, like, you know, false life, you know, being run through him for the blush of health. So yeah, I can see him going out and feeding, and this is not going to be an issue whatsoever. But as Friday rolls around, you guys wake up. It's like maybe 20 minutes past, you know, sunset. Everybody takes their shower, gets clean for the evening. This is the evening you guys want to do the party.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep me at 2 hunger?
Go ahead and knock yourself down to 1. Jimmy will give you guys a call probably, let's say, 10 minutes after you guys are all set. So about a half an hour after sunset. So we'll say it's 7:30 he calls. And he'll call in Lamont. Hey,
I'll answer, yeah.
GW, what do you want me to come by with the stretch?
You can come by anytime.
All right.
Right. Like, the sooner the better.
I'm on my way right now.
Okay. Come promptly. Also, before we leave, I have something to share with you.
I'm all for learning new stuff, so I'll be right there. Say, give me probably 20 minutes to get down there.
Sounds good.
You guys finish prepping up the house, doing those last minute touches. Time goes by, and you'll hear the knock on the door as Jimmy shows up. And you'll see the stretch Hummer is out on the sidewalk. Well, not sidewalk, parked on the curb, by the curb, right outside your place.
Okay. I'll invite him in. I'll tell him to, you know, wait in the common area, and I'll look and see where the other 2 gents are at.
He'll swing in. Now, so since he knows you guys are going out and he assumes he's probably driving, he's actually wearing, like, he's got a black suit jacket on. He's got nice black jeans, and he's got one of those T-shirts with, like, the suit and tie, like, get up on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wearing whatever I have that's the nicest.
We call that redneck chic.
His mohawk is not up, so it's just like a green streak down the middle of his head.
So yeah, I'll look for them, find them.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're all together.
Yeah, we're around
the door.
Yeah.
And then before we leave, there's one thing I wanted to share with you, Jimmy. Please come here. Step forward.
He'll step to you. He was just kind of meandering by the kitchen area, but as soon as you call him up, he'll make his way towards you.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder, and I'll go, you know, Jimmy, it's time that you know what the next step is in our little pyramid of power. And I'll extend my fangs, and I'll look at him, obviously a vampire. Turns out I'm not a wizard. I'll bite him.
He has that moment of shock as the face is on. He's like, "What the fuck?" And you just chomp and at the kiss. I'm assuming.
Yeah, of course. And I'll take just enough to get a taste, and
Okay.
then I'll sensually lick the wound, and I'll just hold him against the wall gently, and tell him there is truth to what we presented to you, but it turns out you probably wouldn't have believed us if we told you the truth.
He seems more shocked than anything after the rush of your fangs kind of breaking the skin and that immediate just tidal wave of euphoria as you drink from him. The fading warmth of your tongue as you lick the wound. He's sways a little bit, manages to catch himself.
You serve at our behest.
And you see him like steel himself. Like clearly this guy is like having been predators around this type of prey for so long, you can tell he's kind of forcing his willpower through his teeth at this point to stand where he is. And he's having trouble finding words.
And I'll continue to speak to him. You protect us during the day, and you do the things that we request of you. And in return, you earn immortality. And the magic that I told you about, the ability to cast spells and weave whatever, not quite. A little bit different. But this is the truth. You are with us now.
Okay.
So I'll clap him on the shoulder. Just, do good. Don't fuck up. Okay?
Better to serve and become immortal than continue being food.
Yeah. Wait. So are we getting like people for you to eat tonight?
Nah, not quite.
Wait,
not quite.
And he like very tentatively touches where you bit him.
We're throwing a party.
Am I gonna like?
Are you gonna what?
Be a?
Are you gonna turn into a vampire and wake up and kill a bunch of people? No. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it's not the comic books.
So I don't have to eat people.
No. When we don't eat people either, we consume their life force, their blood. We drink from them. No one has to die when we feed from them.
As a matter of fact, most of the time, they don't.
How in the shit could we survive if every person we bit and drank from turned into a vampire?
Or died.
Or died.
Can I ask you like an honest question here?
Of course.
Am I gonna like Renfield out and go nuts?
I suppose that depends on your psyche and how you deal with us. But that's part of the test, don't you think? Inherently, no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No.
And as we said before, there are benefits, definitely. You'll probably notice soon, if you haven't already, that you're quite a bit stronger than you were before. And if you aren't yet, you will be.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So when you guys want to go,
we're gonna go now.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go start the car. Make sure it's warm.
Certainly.
And he'll kind of make his way back towards the door. He stumbles a bit, hits like the kitchen island, corrects himself, and he looks back like, sorry.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. Just what we told you is a little off.
Yeah, no, nothing's changed. No. You know what? You're right. Nothing at all.
Yeah. You were under the impression we conjured magic through communication with demons. No, not quite, but something similar.
The magic is very real.
But we're not creatures of innumerable evils. We're just trying to get along in this world.
Hey, yeah.
No more talking. Go drive. I'll grab my coat and follow him out.
he'll just kind of open the door, hold it for you, and he'll head out towards the it's stretch Hummer.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get in the driver's seat, and you'll see him kind of reach the glove box and pulls out a little flask, takes a sip, throws it back in the glove box.
Hey, James, you don't own a firearm, do you?
Yeah, why?
You carry it with you?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
he kind of like shifts in the front seat, and you see him kind of pull it out of a holster that's in his back. He's like, I got my paperwork for it too, you know. Puts it back. Why? What's up?
Oh, just asking.
Curious too. Don't worry about it.
We still have ours up on the shelf too, I think. We haven't touched it in a couple weeks, but it's there.
That's right. You guys have the pistol you put up because nobody knows how to shoot it.
Right. We'll just fucking hurt ourselves.
Hey James, would you mind taking us to the firing range? Because like, turns out all these years, never held a gun before.
We've crossed oceans of time to never fire a gun.
I don't understand this point and trigger.
You know what it is? James seems a little bit weirded out, and I'm concerned that he might blow his brains out. So that's why I ask if he has a gun.
You know, if he does, then he's just not worthy. I mean,
he was too weak-willed, obviously, at that point.
I'm fine with it. And in fact, I sort of hope it happens because I think that would be funny. But I'm just asking the questions so that I can be prepared.
Only need someone to drive. That's really it.
All right.
Well, Sullivan did just buy Drive.
I did. As a matter of fact, spent 3x speed for Drive. Finally.
Rightfully so, because you've been the wheelman now for a while.
I don't know what vampire game you've played, but vampires don't drive the limos. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyways, let's get back to it, shall we?
You would hear Venture ancestors crying if you got behind the wheel of a limo. So you guys head out towards the suburbs. He takes the expressway. You guys give him a list of all the clubs you want to go down. Basically all the ones that Lamont has seeded throughout the week to kind of like let people know, hey, there's going to be a special gathering, etc. How ultimately were you billing it? Was it a special get-together? Was it a private access thing? Like, how were you billing this when you went out?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm billing it in a way that makes people want to get into my car, Ray. I don't actually know.
So a special gathering for VIP guests, selected and selected +1s from various places throughout the suburbs. So it's a very exclusive event.
Yeah. Well, it turns out I am not nearly as manipulative as my character is. So yeah.
No worries.
No
worries.
Whatever this manipulative asshole would have thought of. That's what we're doing.
Given that you're selecting those that get into the car for a sacrifice par excellence, this is an exclusive VIP-only event that only select individuals are gifted enough to get involved with. So you kind of entice that out there, throw the seeds out, did your little schmoozing as he went about the different bars and clubs. So when you guys go out, there are people who you saw, at the various bars and clubs throughout the suburbs that you ran into while you're doing this. They're like, hey, you're here. And they saw the Hummer pull up. It's a nice vehicle. It's a very, very nice vehicle. So when people start seeing that and they see you, they start talking you up, you start gathering them up and they start heading into the Humvee. Now, Jimmy, the bouncer, did have the wherewithal enough to start stocking the bar in the back of the Humvee.
What did Sullivan get for drugs? Like, what kind of drugs did you get for this?
So if I remember correctly, it's some fairly potent, is it MDM?
MDMA?
Yeah.
MDMA?
So
yeah, that's enough to...
Is it pills of ecstasy or is it like liquid?
Oh, that I actually didn't ask.
That's my curiosity.
Probably liquid form, given
liquid, right?
Yeah, given what you were telling Marcel you wanted it for.
So Ray, you've made cocktails before. On the way, I would like to start some cocktails by first rinsing these glasses and cups in, some ecstasy. Just around the rim, on the inside, and then as people start getting in, we'll pop some champagne or pop some booze and start like filling glasses.
You'll notice by the time you get probably to like the third pickup site, right? You have probably 6 or so people in the back now, and they're all getting like they're getting into the vibe of the evening, so to speak, like that subtle impairment of like motion, like their hand-eye coordination is not quite up to par anymore. Their touch lingers on things a little longer than normal. They're seeking out new sensations, like by touching the seats and like the wood paneling around the wet bar, things of that nature. So there's definitely some sign of the drugs taking effect, 100%.
Also, before we do this, we should probably all pretend to be human. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll my rounds.
That's a good point.
Just to get that out of the way. I have done rousings.
Lamont is great. Sullivan's
I have
great.
also made the rousings.
I mean, I should not even fucking bother. Oh my
Preston
god.
is good. You guys are breathing it up, living it up. Your skin tone is flush. Nobody's thinking anything is off about you guys at all. You're just very friendly individuals. Preston, though, is noting that as you're wading through this sea of humanity, going to different clubs and getting people onto the Hummer, it's not quite the same for you. Like, you're a little bit more detached. For you, this is like a efficiency thing. Let's just get them in and get them out, because you're starting to slowly kind of pull away from this connection with mortality, since your touchstone still hasn't been replaced. It's still dead.
Yeah, shit. I gotta do something about that.
How many people did you all want to grab in total? Because you can easily fill up this Humvee with like 15 or so.
I feel like a baker's dozen is a good number of people.
Okay.
I agree.
As you get everybody onto the bus, leaving enough room for you guys, and a little bit wiggle room since you're not kind of filling it out completely, you know, missing like one or two back there. So you have a little bit of room to maneuver around in the back area. And the Humvee starts heading back to the city. At this point in time, with feeding people drinks this whole drive, essentially, people are starting to get a little more inebriated, a little bit more louder. They're starting to kind of, you know, get a little, not rowdy, but energetic. The crowd is getting a little more energetic as you guys are going in the city, like, oh, we're gonna do this awesome thing. Some people are like, I've never been to the city before, and somebody's like, are you fucking for real? And you have that weird conversation that crosses like 5 seats in the back of the car as people are talking about this shit and the different clubs they've gone to, and it's just noise. It's just mortal noise in the background, your peripheral awareness as you guys are focusing on the goal at hand. So as you guys pull into the neighborhood for the warehouse loft, things seem normal. You've got you guys, I mean, normal as it can be. You've got the 3 of you, Jimmy in the driver's seat, and then 13 mortals in the back with you. You pull up to the house. Jimmy parks the Humvee. He looks back over at whoever's closest. He's like, so just kind of
keep the engine running. I'll hop out and I'll close the door behind me, and I will give this the good old the good old Auspex lookabout, making sure, trying to find out if anybody's watching the place, if anybody is noticing.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of a shitty area, so I just want to make sure we don't get seen bringing 13 people in and nobody out.
Right. The only thing you see as you kind of look back and forth as your eyes scan the area is that cat. That fucking, like, scruffy cat is just lingering by your dumpster.
Okay. I'm going to walk over to the cat.
You walk over, the cat looks up at you.
I'll
like
bend down.
When you bend down, it kind of does that lowering itself on its haunches, but in that backwards sort of manner, like it's a little wary of you. But it's not afraid of you. It's not like reacting like a normal cat would.
Okay. I'm going to give it a little taste of daunt.
You daunt, and the cat, you see it kind of pushes itself up, the back arches a bit, and it kind of slowly backs like sideways away from you.
I'll keep approaching it.
It'll hiss.
Come here.
It'll hiss at you, but back up.
And I'll like get up and give it like the stomp, like, get the fuck out of here.
It scatters down the alleyway.
Okay. I'll like snap at the car, and I'll be like, come on, anybody out?
Like, all right,
I don't know if that fucking cat belongs to somebody. Like, come on, I know he's fucking. There's a Nosferatu skulking around. For all I know, he's a fucking Nosferatu. Get out of here, cat. Fuck off.
So you start the train of mortals into the warehouse loft.
I'll be keeping an eye out for a cat. I know this sounds really weird, but like, I'm a little paranoid.
That cat's been around for a hot minute.
Yeah, it has been around for a while.
And if it's just a cat, that's fine. But like, I'm not just a tattoo artist. Then this is not just a party. So
that's true.
You unload the 13 people, and Jimmy stays in the Humvee. You guys get all done, and he kind of wants your eyes like, you want me to pull us down the street and wait, or just take it back?
Yeah, you can just take it back.
Sounds good. And once the door closes, he's off. Everybody in the house, while you had that brief discussion, is starting to grab some of the beers and like going over the snacks and all that other shit you guys bought. And they just start chatting it up. They're talking. Some people seem confused, like, hey, where is everybody? But it's more subdued because at this point in time, they've all ingested drugs several times. So now they're getting a little more like, not to the point of being OD'd, but they're getting more drowsy, a little more relaxed, a little chill. It would take a lot to surprise the shit out of them at this point because the drugs have impaired them so much. With the alcohol, it's a rough time.
I'll start the sort of vague techno-y music that no one can sing along to, but can easily fade into the background.
Right.
And I'll start like mingling with people and getting into like their attention and like having them open up and share some of their like what do you do? I'll be mingling around with people, and hopefully somebody else will be handling the drugging them and etc.
That is the plan. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing out like the bean dip in the food and the extra shot glasses that have all been washed in the drug and everything. And then like the bean dip, I'll put a couple of drops in. I'll kind of mix it up. So no matter what they're touching, they're ingesting more.
So, wow. You have a lot of students, like a lot of like college students that are there. Not really anybody except for the handful, like maybe 5 or so that actually came from the city proper itself. And they're all trading stories about what they've done in the city, like the crazy shit they've seen. Oh, I saw such and such celebrity. I saw so-and-so. You should check this exhibit out at the museum. It's really fucking awesome. This club is great. It's just that bullshit background chatter that kind of fades to nothing. It's just that like wah, 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 wah to a vampire. Like, okay, cool. You're mortal. Let's just get you comfortable before I need to do what I need to do. And as the night starts to progress, as Sullivan's arranging stuff and Preston and Lamont are kind of mingling, getting people relaxed, making sure they're relaxed, you start seeing people start to, I need to sit down. Or they'll sit in a corner after all the chairs and all the couch has been taken up. And people are starting to kind of get like really heavily drunk and hit up really hard by the drug. They're getting really like lethargic at this point. Almost like clumsy coordination style.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to also do is when these people start kind of backing out and starting feeling the effects and almost fading, I'm going to start giving everyone towels. Because towels have like the harsh part, the soft part, and all that, so they can all fixate on that, so they can't see what the fuck we're doing when we start leading people downstairs.
So when this starts to happen and I start to see them get lethargic, I'm literally going to go into freestyle mode, and I'm gonna turn the lights a little bit back up, and I'm gonna turn the music a little bit back down, and I'm gonna start talking and engaging with the group, and I'll use awe to get everybody's attention, and I'll let them know tonight all of you have been picked for the most amazing, death-defying, and terrifying escape room experience of all time. You are all here to help us launch this great new experience, so real it's almost real. And I'll start handing out the chain, and I'll start handing out the padlocks, and I'll start telling people what you're experiencing will seem so real and so vivid that you just might believe it's true, and start like tying the chain around people's necks and clamping it. And this is what I'll be doing so that we can lead them all downstairs.
You hear like this chatter kind of spread through the 13 that you've gathered, like, oh shit, I didn't know it was gonna be one of these. Wow, this gotta be a celebrity guest, I guarantee it. Like, are we like the test group? Oh my god, we're fucking a test group. This is so awesome. Like, is our name gonna be in the credits? Like on the like in the book or the brochure? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we get credits, right? And then as you like clink to the next one, they're all just kind of like falling in line into this.
The danger will seem real, but the reward at the end will be real. Who knows what it is, and who knows who's going to be behind that door. But you'll need to work together. You'll need to use your minds as one to escape from the room filled with darkness. Click, click. That's what I'll be doing.
And so I'm assuming once they're all gathered up, you're going to lead them downstairs?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go with you, and Sullivan had set up places where they can be just secured to spots around the altar, not the altar, but the well of sacrifice, essentially. They all get clipped in, and you guys start performing the rite. Go ahead.
One of the things I'm going to be doing for the rite, just so you're aware, is, those, this is fucking terrible, but those round, like, X-Acto knives that you use for pumpkin carving and shit? That, you wipe it across like a pumpkin or something soft, and it literally pulls sheets and sheets of its skin away. I'm going to be basically carving in an Akkadian lullaby down everyone's spine. as part of the ritual.
So
I'm gonna turn the lights off upstairs.
Not like a literal lullaby, but
right.
That's how it's going to be presented to this being. We want it to go to sleep. We want it to switch. It's got to go to sleep, not wake up.
Who is going to be the primary caster for the sacrifice?
Not me.
It's either me or Preston.
Probably, yes, probably one of us. I've got that Clergy of the Void thing. I've also got the Rite background. 2 dots of that.
I don't have that.
Okay.
Which is very dumb of me. I should.
All right. So for the initial dedication, I'll let you use your manipulation plus your occult, and since you have the Rite background, I'll add a +1 die bonus for you. And you get a +1 because you're at the well.
Okay, so +2 bonus total.
Yep. You also have 2 player dice if you want to use any of those.
Fuck it, use them both.
Use them, yeah. I mean,
I'll use them both. So that's a modifier of 4 total.
And I assume me and Lamont will be basically assisting in the Rite.
Well, yeah, by doing that, you guys... Oh, shit, 5? Brilliant. By doing that, you guys are essentially making sure everybody's restrained properly while he's going about with the initial intonation and getting everything set up. As you all start going to do the more grisly work and seeing to your duty to try to, rededicate this well, as the blood starts to flow essentially, you guys all feel a change in the well itself. As you start kicking it off, you get to allow the bloodletting and things start, kind of accumulating to this fevered pitch as the ritual starts to fully take off under Preston's, guidance, because since he's like the conductor of this ritual, as you guys are going about doing your things, as that starts happening and blood starts flowing more freely, the pain starts to become very real to these people. At first, it's like, oh, a little dulled. Oh, oh, wow, that does feel really real. And oh, shit, it's real. And people start to panic down here, but they're restrained in place. They're also being held in place by Lamont and Sullivan. They're going around making sure everybody's secured as Preston's doing most of the dirty work here. As you guys do this and start going along the line and basically putting people into these pitched throes of agony that's required for this type of sacrifice to be effective, you feel this surge in the mystical nature of the well. It feels weird, like you feel this font of energy start to kind of manifest itself. And as he gets like a third of the way through, you see that liquid blackness erupt out of the mouth of the well and start flowing across the ground. It's this cold obsidian liquid that just flows all over the ground. It comes up to about your ankle and it's icy cold. There's a presence in that water, that mist, whatever it is that kind of erupted out of the well. And it's not going down. It's getting more and more strong. With every drop of blood that hits it, it sends like a new ripple of energy throughout the entirety of the floor. I need Preston to make a willpower roll to maintain concentration as this occurs. 2 successes, it's respectable. So as you're going about this, the cold and the sudden appearance of this doesn't break your stride. Having been in the Sabbat and having done rituals in the Sabbat, you're used to the occasional weird sudden distraction. And you know how to kind of pace yourself to work around it, to buy yourself time by adding, little tidbits here and there of ritual, like phrases and speakings, to kind of buy yourself a little bit more time to get used to what's going on. So as you're navigating throughout the room, this is what's going on. Now, you get about halfway through, where the first half of the group you've brought down, out of the 13, they're all bleeding their last. They're starting to die. As that starts occurring, the liquid, that black on the floor, starts to congeal itself and starts to form into the presence of a familiar being. You guys see that insectoid form of Vanathra start to form out of the blackness on the ground, out of the well's, energy. And as it starts to form, you get a good look at this pseudo-locust form that he has. Like, he's a locust on 2 feet, essentially. He's got the backwards legs. He's got several other, vestibular arms that kind of erupt from his torso. He's got this black chitinous shell over him. His mouth is just a series of mandibles. He's got 2 large, complex eyes. And as he looks at you, he reaches out one hooked, almost like a mantis arm towards Preston. And you hear this hissing, more in your mind than physically. You must stop. Do you continue?
I continue.
All right.
Stop.
He starts advancing towards Preston as you go to the 7th person. Does anybody do anything?
I will interpose myself between Preston and this fucking creature.
I will grab a knife and I'll slide it in my wrist and I'll enact Scorpion's Touch.
Okay. So at this point, here's how this plays out. And Preston, this is very obvious for you. You need, and for everybody actually here, you all have done these types of rites before, but nothing this complex that's been rededicating. You know at this point in time, it's just going to be a building crescendo that's going to just shatter and rededicate the well. You got more than enough people. You need like 6. You guys have 13. And probably 4 have died already. The other 2 are starting to go towards it. So there's more and more psychic energy of these deaths being hurled at the well to kind of reformat it. Preston can't stop. If he stops the right now, everything's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we will go to initiative, which means we get to have that fun thing that we don't like having, which is combat in this particular game because it sucks. So composure plus awareness.
For it.
What's Sullivan's?
2.
Lamont?
3.
Preston?
4.
Ooh. Vanathra? Let me look. Vanathra is at a
12.
Goes first. I can deal with that.
He's
Sometimes
at a
it's
7.
better not to know.
He's a thing from beyond, so there's that.
Also, I am very unaware.
AKA, I don't have awareness.
Yeah,
All right.
either.
So as Lamont imposes himself between Vanathra and his target, the ritual caster, Sullivan manages to do Scorpion's Touch on his blade. You will see the chittering insect before you as Vanathra reaches out towards, with his free hand, towards Lamont and hisses in this weird, like, clicky language. You feel the darkness start to surge again out of the well, and when it erupts out like a tidal wave, it turns into a host of insects that start diving for Lamont's body. This is his tack. It's called Call the Host. So we'll see how he does with it. All right.
Boy.
So 4 successes, which means he will pretty much hit, but you get to use your dexterity plus athletics to try to dodge.
Sweet. 2.
Okay. So 2 over. Essentially, you will take a total of 3 superficial damage, as when these insects hit you, they literally start burrowing through your body and your undead flesh.
Okay. You said 3?
Yep. Now, this will not be halved. Usually you will have superficial damage as a vampire. This doesn't get halved.
Fair enough.
That brings us to Preston. You're still chanting. You're still good. You haven't got anybody gotten to you yet, so you're solid. This gets you 1 more person down. So Lamont and Sullivan, which one of you wants to go first?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to try to look at him really hard and use Daunt, because that's really the only thing that I could taste his blood or make him quiet, but slapping him would probably hurt less than using Daunt. So I'm just going to try to make him real intimidated about what I'm about to do, which is a whole lot of nothing. Right. There's a lot of potential in me, so I just need you to take that seriously.
All right. Yeah. You'll activate Daunt, and your countenance will go much more intimidating. If he tries to act against you again, he must try to beat you in the social roll, which you may have a good advantage on because I am nothing but an insectoid demon type thing.
That's good. Sullivan. I'm hoping that I have, some advantage here.
So I'm going to use my movement basically to get around behind him, and I'm going to entrance him. You come to me.
Do you really think it's a good idea?
Well, probably not, but actually, you know what? I'd Scorpion's Touched. I'll just stab him in the back of the head.
From one extreme to the other on that.
It was like, hey, how are you? Fuck you.
I'm actually gonna rouse to up my physical.
Okay, let's go to the rouse. Oh,
yay!
Look at that. So you add +2 to your physical, and it's going to be your dex plus your melee. So the knife does a base of 1.
Now I need to roll my Scorpion's Touch. You need to roll your stamina plus your occult.
I can do that.
Oh, I need to roll 2 more dice because my strength is too higher.
So Vanathra rolls 6 successes.
God damn.
What a bunch of bullshit.
And 2 ones. That's not garbage.
You hit him with the blade. You still do like 3 damage, which is fine. 3 superficial. And the Scorpion's Touch, unfortunately, does not actually activate and deal any additional damage, which is kind of shitty.
Fighting a goddamn demon.
So we've got Daunt, we've got a stab, we got Vanathra attacking Lamont with the horde of insects from the well. Now, at that point, Preston's moving slowly down the line to continue the sacrifice. the top of the next round, Vanathra goes. He looks back to Sullivan since you literally just stabbed him, and he pulls that clawed hand back. And as he drives it towards you, you see that blackness from the well form around him into like a blade, like he's stabbing into you. So, if you want to try to stab him back, we can make this a contested roll, essentially. It would be essentially his melee plus dex versus your melee plus dex.
Sure.
Okay, do you want to rouse again?
Because rousing is only for the round?
Yeah, it's for one roll.
Gotcha. Yes, I will definitely rouse again.
Okay.
Dang, brah.
So go ahead and roll your rouse first.
No, my hunger goes up. My hunger's at 3, right?
All right, you fail your rouse. You get a bit hungry, but you do have the +2 bonus dice. So he will roll his melee and dex. And you will roll your melee dex.
Just simmer down there, Mr. Bugman.
I got 4.
He only got 2. Look at that.
Now we need to roll.
Actually, no, he got 4 because those are 2 10s.
Wow.
I will re-roll. I'll blow another willpower, and I'll re-roll the 3
Damn.
regular.
Blow that willpower, Jeff. You got this.
So will he.
I
What a
don't know
dick.
that that's how I meant it.
Son of a bitch! You wouldn't fucking do that, you dick.
He's got 7.
Yeah, he did that and got 2 more 10s. So
Fuck, I only got 1 more, so
what's your total at there, Jeff?
my total be
5.
Pretty good. You will take a total of 4 superficial. As when he strikes you with this, you feel the energy from the well erupt through your veins and start making your body rebel against itself as blood starts spurting out of your chest when he struck you.
dang, bro.
That's tough.
That brings us to Lamont, who has daunted him.
Oh, do I have to roll for frenzy because it's the first damage of the night?
Yeah, we'll have you roll. A difficulty, I believe, is a 3 on that. Let's double check.
Is there something available I can smash this guy with while I'm being eaten by bugs?
Yes, lengths of chain.
Okay. I'm gonna rouse.
Okay. Jeff, roll your willpower difficulty 2.
Yep, just did.
I'm gonna rouse.
Got 2.
How does that work? You did frenzy.
For once? Holy shit.
Yeah.
You did frenzy.
Just out of
Barely,
curiosity,
though.
since this is pertinent, it's probably going to come up in this situation. Have we received any willpower back since our last?
Yes, you guys would have refreshed.
Okay, because
I
that's
was
good. I wasn't, because I keep track.
Alrighty then.
So I'm going to rouse, and I am going to, which I did successfully.
Right. You
And
gonna get any hunger?
I'm going to smash this giant bug with some chain.
So you grabbed this like probably 4-foot length of chain, wrapped around your fist, get a good grip, and it's got some of the manacles on the outside of it, so it's a good like nice flaying action essentially. A little weighted towards the end. You rouse your beast, and you manage to rouse the beast. You rouse your blood. Why am I thinking rouse the beast? You rouse your blood, and you swing this chain. Go ahead and roll your melee plus your dex. Cool.
3.
He will attempt to do his athletics. Get the fuck out the way.
Spare.
2, you got over 1, so your chain will give it like a base of one damage essentially. Then you got 1 margin over him, so that'll do a total of 2 to him. As you slam into his back with his length of chain, you see that the darkness that has kind of made this physical form for him is starting to now slowly dissipate as he's been rather badly damaged by the 2 of you between the knife wound and now you're flaying with his chain. You can tell your senses being attuned to more mystical energies. His mystical energy, his being, his self, has not been harmed very badly, but this physical shell that he's made is not very strong. And as he's turning to try to like look back at between Lamont and Sullivan, you hear him again, that hissing in your mind. He is shouting out like, for Lamont, it's a weird language, very, very harsh. But for Sullivan, you understand it. It's that Sumerian dialect you've learned. He's basically swearing in it, and he's calling out to the 2 of you. He's saying, I was a slave to you and your line for years. You will die, and I will be free. You will not rededicate this. This is my place, not yours. And Preston gets another person down as we go to the next round, round 3. I'm going to try to do my social challenge against Lamont to get past your daunt. It is resolve plus composure for the person attacking you, difficulty of 2. So let's see what he does.
It's a opposed roll. like
No.
charisma, intimidation? Or?
It's just a difficulty 2.
Oh.
He can attack you. As you see him turn between the two of you in this sacrificial area now, he looks back at Lamont, and you see like his eyes kind of flare for a moment as he dives towards you. Both of his scythe-like arms will reach up, and they'll be encompassed with that blackness, that ichor from the well, and they'll slide down towards you like a reaper's scythe.
Right.
You can attempt to counterattack with a chain, or just dodge, whatever you wish.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt with the chain, and I'll rouse because I'm a pud. So
Okay. He's going to do his melee and dexterity.
I'll gain a hunger.
All right, so as you pump your blood through your muscles to get more powerful, you do feel that the beast take its tithe. Vanathra gets 3. Do you want to use any dice?
What do you guys think?
Yes.
You have
Fuck
5.
this guy up.
Okay, I'll use 2.
Oh, nice. Is that a crit?
No, it's just
Just
a
the
plus
one.
110.
Okay.
Just a 1.
So you swing on him as he comes at you, and as his scythe-like blackened talons sweep towards your head, you duck below and just bring that chain up towards like his thorax, and just you hear it crunch into the blackened carapace that surrounds his spiritual form. And as that hit connects, it almost like starts a chain reaction as his body starts to crack. All the chitinous armor over his spiritual body starts to literally start falling off of him in these rains of just black flakes, and he disintegrates there. And you hear this scream of anger get thrown from right in front of you down the well. And at that point, all the blackness that had covered the floor and had created him gets sucked back down into it. Preston, I need another willpower roll. As a mystical shockwave effectively erupts out of the well as he's banished.
Use those other 2 dice too.
Yeah, you do. You have 3 more actually.
Yeah, however.
I will use 2 of them.
Bam!
And I got 5.
For you, this is another night at the S spot for Preston. You diligently go from individual to individual as you guys are standing there after Vanathra's physical form crumbles into nothingness and his essence gets sucked back down into the well in which he was imprisoned. You feel this like boom go off mystically. It hits you in the soul. It's this impact of this blackened energy. It just kind of ripples through your bodies. Preston keeps on going without skipping a beat. Like it hits you, but you immediately roll to the next thing. You're taking solace in the cadence you've created for yourself while you're doing the right. You do manage to finish it effectively. Once the last person bleeds out, it's going to take probably 2 or 3 hours for this to happen. You go through first time, the second pass, the consecration pass. You start to feel already a change in the well. Like as you guys are looking down while Preston's going about from person to person, finishing them off essentially, you will see the writing slowly start to revert itself back to what was there originally when you guys dedicated the well. As the last of the souls gets consumed as an offering, and the last body slumps in the chains you guys have kind of strung them up in, the well feels very different. It feels brand new, essentially, like it was when you guys freshly made it the first time. On top of that, there is a feeling of calm that kind of settles over the area. There's no more lingering presence, so to speak, that was sometimes felt down here when Vanathra was in the area. That's gone. But you also do note that whenever that spiritual sonic boom essentially hit the area, all the wards that have been erected around this place shattered.
That's not the greatest thing to have happen, but you know,
Right.
Hopefully you guys know some words.
I'll have to look through the book again. I know I can redo the words, like the simple words, but the word versus demon stuff.
No, I don't have.
Oh, that's right. That one's still a little bit beyond us.
Yeah, well, I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can make something a little weaker to hold it off in the meantime until I can learn that.
I'll sit down.
That was a big thing.
We'll sit.
And I'm fucked up. Can I rouse to heal?
Most certainly you can. So at your blood potency, rousing to heal, you will heal 2 points of superficial damage every time you rouse.
Oh, son of a bitch. I'm at hunger 4.
Whoa. Roll me a frenzy test, because there's tons of blood all over this room.
Shit.
I'll heal.
It's
One
definitely a
superficial on me.
shit moment. 5.
Holy shit.
You're not
I
frenzing
don't know.
tonight.
I'm okay.
You're not frenzing tonight. Do you want to try that the rouse for the other 2 damage?
I want to feed first.
So here's the question. You guys have all these bodies down here. I'd say about half the blood's gone out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You guys could probably all get down to 1 hunger if you want to sup from the dead flesh before you dispose of them.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I mean, I don't. Is it going to affect? Well, I guess it doesn't really affect the ritual because the ritual's done.
The ritual's done. Yep. But you only get about half the amount of blood that you would normally get.
Yeah, because I definitely still need to heal the superficial damage, so I will certainly do that. I'll feed.
Okay. You all feed off of the corpses that are here, and you manage to heal your superficial wounds. From where Lamont got hit by those insects, that tidal wave that surged out of the well, when you heal yourself, you're literally regrowing entire chunks and tunnels that have been bored out of you by these infernal insects. You're literally like having a tunnel of flesh that's just filling itself up with blood and re-knitting itself back together. It's a really odd feeling.
It's pretty gross.
It is. But you guys get everything set. What are you guys thinking for those? This is a mass series of bodies. How do you want to try?
I mean, can't we just toss them down the well?
That was one of 2 things I was thinking. We toss it down the well. The other thing is would be like a horrendous dumpster fire, and then after it's done burning for however many hours that is, we take the bones. I take a boat. Oh no, I don't really want to go into Lake Michigan actually. We take them into the suburbs and throw them into Bussy Woods or something. But if we can just toss them down the well, fuck it, we'll toss them down the well.
So
will that work, Ray? I mean, can we?
When before, no problem, because the well had that amorphous blackness, that connection to the beyond. You guys walk over to the edge of the well now and look down. It goes down maybe like 30 feet.
Is it not acceptable to throw corpses into your well of sacrifice?
You totally can. It's just whether or not you hit capacity before they all rot away.
Yeah, well, I mean, capacity, that's, that's a very subjective term.
But you guys could definitely dump them all down there. Like, with 30 feet, you've got 13 bodies. You're going to have some kind of spilling over the edge. But that's part of the joy, right?
Yeah, well, we'll have to make sure to get some air fresheners off Amazon.
And some Febreze and shit.
I don't know. It's up to you guys. I mean, wouldn't...
You know what? Why don't we do this? Since we're already effective at disposal of bodies, why don't we take like 2 of those bodies, we'll break them down into parts and distribute them throughout the suburbs and like fucking...
Well, if you want to dismember, you can probably fit them in there without any overflow. But right now, as whole...
Rocket dismemberment.
Well, we're going to have to... I do believe that we should do some, how to put this gently, disassembly. And we should probably retain the identifiable parts in our well. However...
I also have a better idea, come to think of it. We have a blowtorch, and skin and muscle burns away to pretty much nothing or slag. Dude. And then we just dump the bones.
Dude, I don't know what you think.
Right?
No. You need to understand something right now, okay? Just for the record, a blowtorch is like a jet of fire, right? When they cremate you, they put you in a giant assembly line of fiery jets. I didn't say
it wasn't going to take time.
It's going to take they will rot before we get them burned with a blowtorch. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Just between you, me, and everybody watching, great idea, but needs to be like a much grander scale. That's
so we need to pool our money and buy a crematorium, is what you're saying.
We do. Let's just cut them up and throw them in the well.
Yep, sounds good to me.
I think we should take off their identifiable parts, and then what's left over we take and we distribute like the dude did in the Shawshank Redemption. We just kind of like take one and go to like Joliet, and take one and go to like, South Holland, and we just sort of distribute them as we go out into the yard to play baseball or smoke cigarettes.
Sure, works for me.
Okay.
So basically you're saying hands and heads in the well, everything else goes.
Yeah.
And anything with like tattoos on it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
The gruesome deed takes the rest of the evening. You guys go out early morning to distribute those parts that were not able to be kept. It's a lot of cleaning up to do. The entire ground around the well is soaked in blood and various viscera. But you clean up as best you can and leave the majority in the well to further dedicate and saturate the holiness, or unholiness rather, of the site. So that has wrapped up the sacrifice. The nest has actually managed to rededicate their well and, at least for the moment, deal with a certain pesky plague demon that's been bothering them for quite some time. This is not a breather, though. It may seem like a breather. It is an accomplishment, but there's still a lot of stuff going on in the city, and we'll get more into that with the next episode. See you all there.